Jack the Ripper. My oldest daughter just purchased this for me at the supermarket. Yes, there's this magazine staring at people here in the 21st century about murders that happened over 100 years ago in the late 1880s. Jack the Ripper still holds us, still has that mystique, that power to evoke those images. London in the 1880s, fog, police whistles, screams, those gas lamps just giving that eerie glow. Jack the Ripper. Some people have said he's the JFK of the 19th century. I think JFK might be the Jack the Ripper of the 20th century, because they're still trying to find out who was Jack the Ripper. Now, if you go to the net, there's lots of Ripperologists. I always keep this handy when I read about Jack. I don't know what it is. I just get this feeling. Nothing more than feelings. Anyhow, this is about a very famous author, Patricia Cornwell, who about 10 years ago wrote a book identifying who she believed Jack the Ripper to be. The very famous British artist Walter Sickert. Now, there are lots of theories of who Jack the Ripper was. Nobody's ever been conclusive. But Patricia, 10 years ago, well, she went one better. She invested millions of dollars to go through all the purported letters of Jack the Ripper to the police that they have, looking for DNA evidence, trying to find out if there's a match. Can we put it to Walter Sickert? Walter Sickert was a very famous British artist who, I think he lived to around 62 years of age. He died in France in 1942. The argument would be that if he did all this slashing and murdering, he must have stopped because he lived a rather quiet life. Sickert was a very bizarre character. He certainly was in London at that time. He certainly was into dark ideas. He painted several women that had been killed. You need to read Patricia's book, and you'll realize it's a pretty thin case. The Ripperologists on the net just ripped it apart. They were ripping Jack the Ripper. They were ripping Patricia Cornwell. But you know, Patricia just can't leave it alone. Last year she published another book to go back and go, no, here's the evidence, here's the evidence. I like her. I like her books. I like her mysteries. But Patricia, you've got to stop. Leave it alone. This was the book that was supposed to just finally say Jack the Ripper was Walter Sickert, and I'll come back to why she doesn't make her case. Instead, I'll go to this guy. Now, this guy wrote a book. Look at these books. Look at the thought and time. Look at the thought and time put into that book. They all love Jack. That's based on a song that the man who he believes was Jack the Ripper used to sing. Sing. He was a popular singer in England at that time. And you got to admit, that's pretty good. They all love Jack. Well, we're still paying attention to Jack. I don't know if we love him. I don't think the women he disposed of have had any feeling for him. But anyway, this guy makes a very good case for his fellow. He poo-poos Patricia Cornwell, I think in 2 sentences in the whole book. All those millions of dollars, she could have fed kids, she could have given scholarships, she could have helped a living human being. Now, I don't believe he really does identify who Jack the Ripper is, but he makes a good case and it's worth reading. Patricia, all that money spent on what? Was it pure ego? After all, your detective novels are fascinating and well written, but just imagine if you could identify Jack the Ripper. That would make you the supreme detective of all time. But Patricia, I want to tell you what I started to do and I had to stop. In your book, I started reading maybe, could be, probable. Is it possible? If you think, all of a sudden, these words just kept coming up over and over. And I thought, I'll take a yellow highlighter and start marking. Maybe, possible, could be. I had to stop. Because if I started marking all those phrases that you used there, I would have the yellow pages. For those that used to remember the telephone books we used to get, the yellow pages were the business pages, but these would be the yellow pages. No, Patricia, I'm sorry. You've spent millions of dollars. You've written 2 books. And all I can tell you is that I think Jack the Ripper is the victim of Patricia Cornwell. Big Daddy knows. Subscribe.